The whole show. Everything that's wrong with The Idol is its very existence. There is not a single redeemable quality about this show. So in today's video, I'm going to be discussing the broad range of drama about the show and the controversy surrounding the behind the scenes production. But first, I want to start with the reason I'm making this video in the first place, and that's Jennie from Blackpink. People only watch The Idol for Jennie. Period. And that is not an exaggeration. Critics, news publications, and the general audience of the show all agree on this. And it is very rare when all three of these groups of people agree with each other. So you know it's bad. So BuzzFeed published an article titled, "Despite widespread criticism of The Idol, people are praising Blackpink's Jennie in her television acting debut." And in this article, they included several tweets of pure hatred for The Idol, with Jennie being the one and only exception. The Idol is terrible. Like, I don't care. Sam Levinson and The Weeknd should thank Jennie for making people tune in. For real, like, the acting is terrible. I only watched it for Jennie. I'm watching The Idol only for Jennie. The amount of times they are posting Jennie, one would think she's a main character in his show. That's how you know she made the most noise, even with her 3 to 4 minutes of screen time. And when I say people only watched this show for Jennie, I literally mean it. Because on The Idol's premiere night, they could only pull 913,000 people. Not even a million. But Jennie's dance scene from the show pulled over 3.2 million viewers. But it wasn't just that scene, because another scene she's in just very briefly reached over 1 million views. So the individual clips of Jennie pulled in more viewers than the actual debut of the show itself.
Are you not ashamed of yourself? Are you not embarrassed? This is really embarrassing.
People just weren't showing up. They could not care less. And I can guarantee you, in 100% confidence, that if Jennie was not a cast member of this show, they wouldn't have pulled 900,000 viewers. It would have been a lot less. And we know this for a fact, because the New York Times spoke to one superfan who said they'd unsubscribe to Max if Jennie was cut from the show. And I think that Sam Levinson deep down inside knew that people wouldn't tune into this show if he didn't cast Jennie, because he literally gave her the absolute bare minimum to work with. In an expose written by Rolling Stone, they interviewed crew members who had this to say about Jennie. Crew members claim Jennie has barely any airtime and an inconsequential story arc. It was like 3 or 4 lines per episode for her. They didn't let her talk that much. Her job was to sit there and look pretty, basically. And you want to know why people wouldn't have watched this show if Jennie wasn't in it? Well, first off, the dialogue is god-awful. I don't know what else to say. It's literally like Sam Levinson opened up ChatGPT and asked the AI to write a show for him that appeals to absolutely no one. And I'll tell you why it appeals to absolutely no one. Just take a look at an actual, real, 100% genuine scene that comes from the show.
I think I'm gonna invite Tedros over. The rat tail club guy? Yeah. Josh.
What?
I hate his vibe.
Really?
Yes!
What's wrong with him?
He's so rapey.
Yeah, I kind of like that about him.
Yeah, y'all might have been right about this one. Yeah, this is an...
There was not one singular breathing woman in that writer's room. Women don't talk like that, Sam. It's palpable that you have never been around a woman. Some more of the horrible dialogue included, mental illness is sexy.
My disappointment is immeasurable. And my day is ruined.
And you think it'd stop there? Yeah, no it doesn't. There was also this abomination.
What? On her face. someone came on her face and then took a photo. You want to get in closer?
Oh my.
I am disgusted.
Another reason why The Idol is receiving a lot of negative attention is because of The Weeknd. That's it. And after reading about his involvement with this show, I completely understand the outrage. So firstly, Entertainment Weekly published an article that said this: why Lily Rose Depp says she would steer clear of The Weeknd on The Idol set. I don't think anybody went full method. Nobody lost their minds. After a pause, she adds, well, sometimes Abel would get... I don't want to reveal too much about where Abel's character goes, but when he would be in full Tedros mode sometimes, I would steer clear of him. I'd be like, he's in his zone right now. And that's crazy because he was method acting and his performance was trash. Oh my god. Also, if Lily, the main character of your story, is saying that she had to steer clear of her co-star, I'm thinking that maybe Abel shouldn't have been on set. But another reason The Weeknd is getting hate is because of what he said after the show's creative overhaul. The crux of the issue appears to be that Tesfaye felt the show was leaning too much into a female perspective with Lily Rose Depp's character rather than his own. It leaned too much into a female perspective? Why is that a bad thing? Why do you want the perspective to lean into your character rather than Lily's when the show revolves around Lily's character? Oh my god! Even a crew member literally had this to say about The Weeknd. It was like The Weeknd wanted one show that was all about him and Sam was on board with that. So even though the show is called The Idol and it follows Jocelyn because she's the idol, he still wanted it to be about him and have the story be told from his perspective. And the original vision of the show was great. And then The Weeknd wanted it to be all about him, and that's when it got bad. And while we're on the topic of The Weeknd, there is some heavy speculation online that because he's a co-creator of the show, he used it as an outlet to shade Selena Gomez, who he dated in the past. In this scene, some directors or managers or whatever, I didn't watch the show and I'm not going to, say this. Okay, the robe, the hospital wristband, are we romanticizing mental illness? And what do you know? In the music video for Bad Liar, Selena Gomez is seen wearing a hospital wristband. And Bad Liar is probably about The Weeknd. So, do with that information what you will. So you know how I talked about the Rolling Stones expose earlier? Well, they interviewed crew members about what it was like to work on the show, and not only is it laughable in the worst way possible, but it's also incredibly unprofessional. I was so drained by the end of it. I was like, I can't have a job make me cry every day because I have 2 hours to sleep and I'm being pulled in 100 directions because nobody knows what they're doing and nobody knows what they want because we don't know what we're filming. Decisions were being made on the fly, frustrating several crew members who say they felt they could never properly prepare for the next day of work. I'd be driving home and they'd be like, oh, we're adding a scene, but it hasn't even been written in yet. There was always this sense of chaos because we never had a plan on what was going to happen today or tomorrow or the next scene. Oh, and another reason why people are mad at The Weeknd, valid, is because when the Rolling Stone published this article describing the terrible experiences crew members had on the set, he tweeted a video from the show where he says, the Rolling Stone is irrelevant. As he said, did we offend you? Dude, you are cringe. And in this article published by Forbes, where they say that The Idol debuted with less viewers than Euphoria and The White Lotus, they said this: The Idol is not a ratings disaster. Those numbers are close to even with the first season of The White Lotus, which had 944,000 viewers. However, The White Lotus had incredible word of mouth. Viewership went up every single episode of season 1. I will bet you any amount of money that will not happen with The Idol. And if anything, people will be tuning out after that premiere. Also, just pause to read the absolutely disgusting scenes Sam Levinson wanted to film for the show, because I don't want to read these out. How on earth does that relate to the story that you are trying to tell? What does that add to the overall plot? Nothing! Sam Levinson needs to be thrown in prison! And just for a little extra dash of awful, they included 818 Tequila in scenes of the show. Oh my god. And what do I say, ladies and gentlemen? That's right! The devil works hard, but Kris Jenner works harder! Now, usually, I'm the kind of person to say you shouldn't judge a show before you've even seen an episode. But I think with The Idol, there is a very special exception. I guess the entire point of this video is don't watch this show. Because those numbers will just give Sam Levinson and The Weeknd more incentive to create another season of this show. I'm mad I'm mad at its existence. Succession ended for this. Oh my god. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I love you all so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys!